Hey guys, just a quick one today. Promise it's not going to be a long ramble like the last few have been. I don't have quite as much to talk about, but a few things have developed over the last couple days since I made my last video. Um, so, taking a few steps on my path to piercing. I got my bloodborne pathogens yesterday, and this morning I finished my first aid. I've done first aid before, but it is required for piercing. I always thought CPR was too, but I've been told it isn't. It's just more something you would get if you wanted. It's not necessarily, not necessarily necessary, we'll say. So I'll probably leave that for now. I'll probably get it in the end, but just in the near term, picking up what's useful, what isn't. There's a lot to focus on, obviously. And then, of course, I put up the video of my hand tattoo yesterday. I had a little bit of fun with adding music to that and fooling around with some editing and stuff. It's not something I've done a lot of, and it's not something I'm super good at. So I was kind of hoping that that was cool and kind of an experimental sort of thing. I'd like to play around more with stuff like that in the future. But I'm not great at that stuff, so that'll roll out slowly, if at all, kind of thing. Obviously, yeah. So yeah, I got my hand tattooed yesterday, third pass, and so I've got some time off work, so may as well make a few YouTube videos, I figure. So I've got a Q&A questions up on Instagram right now. If anybody's interested, check out my stories and add to it. I've already got quite a few questions. It might end up being a pretty long Q&A, or it's a two-part Q&A. I wasn't expecting the turnout I got, so that was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I got some new questions too. I got a lot of repeats. I might just lightly touch on some of that in a different way. I like to do a Q&A every few weeks, maybe till they get a little old, and then I'll stop doing them so much, but I think that they're an interesting way for people to get to ask some questions that they don't normally get to ask. Maybe they don't know anyone with as many tattoos as me, or piercings, or anything like that. And it's just a good way to kind of give people a chance to get to know me a little better and open up a little bit about my experiences. So lots of people ask how I get through the really painful tattoo appointments. If there's some magic trick, or if one guy asked me if I'm numbing, and then kind of, he told me, the numbing cream that he's used and how he does it and all of this stuff, and it almost seemed like he was trying to sell me a product. He wasn't, but the way he was talking, it was like, oh my god, I don't know how I do it without that. I don't use any creams. None. I've never used a cream. I've had some Bactine sprayed on me, but I've never really asked for it. It's always kind of just like, it's done with or without my permission, kind of thing. It's probably more or less just to make the tattoo smoother for me or something. I don't know. I find Bactine even, it can give you a bit of a break, but it's, it's meant to hurt. This stuff is supposed to hurt, and there's no magic trick to it. I don't cast a spell or will the pain away. Although I was telling my artist yesterday, as bad as the hand tattoo is, it's still preferable in some ways to what I've been working on with my torso, because it feels as if with limbs, I can kind of just leave my body part where it is and walk away from it mentally. Like this hand, yeah, it hurts. I don't have to feel that though. It's 2 feet away from me, I told him. 2 feet away from me, and I'm not right there with it right now. So I can leave that thing. When you're getting a tattoo right in your chest or your belly or your sides or somewhere like that, it's so on you, it's so vivid. It just feels like you can't get away from it. It almost feels like you're trapped in there with the pain sometimes, and you have to go into what I like to think of as the pain cave. So it's a term that me and my artist talk about. It's when I get in my comfort spot. Usually takes me about half an hour-ish to assimilate to the pain that I'm dealing with. And I usually find that the first half an hour or so is the worst for me. My body's, just starting to fight back and protect itself, and adrenaline's starting to set in, and that's the point where the tattoo hurts the most. Once I've been feeling it for a while, I get really, really acclimatized to it, and I get into an old comfortable groove with it, and then you just ride it out. Also, there's a good thing that you can tell yourself when you sit down for a painful appointment is, once it begins, it's basically over. And what I mean to say by that is, once you commit to it, it's only going to last so long. So whatever pain, however bad it isn't going to, say a couple hours from now, you're going to be at home eating a burger or pizza or whatever you eat is like a treat meal or a victory meal, which is something I like to do sometimes after really bad tattoos. Usually your blood sugar is really low anyway, and you're pretty weak, and if you've had a really extensive long session, you're pretty tired, and a good thing to do is to give yourself a nice meal after a tattoo. So whatever that ends up being for you, I always think yeah, this pain sucks right now, but it won't last forever. Nothing bad, or good for that matter, will last forever. You can use that as a superpower, almost. Truly. That's been the bulk of what I've done to get through horrible tattoo appointments. And I gotta say, the last couple months, it's been nothing but horrible tattoo appointments. And I'm always looking forward to, it's week after week of awful places. It's week after week of armpits and belly buttons and nipples and finger tattoos and, throats and all kinds of stuff, and not just little parts, huge chunks, and touching up an entire arm or touching up the entire side of your rib or something. It's all about knowing that the moment you feel pain will pass soon enough. That's really all there is to it. A lot of grit and bear it. There is a meditative process that comes with knowing that the pain won't last long, and the pain cave, all of that stuff, I believe is a name that I give to something that I don't fully understand, to be honest, and I don't know if anyone fully understands. But humans, when pushed through their limits, pain-wise, have access to things that I think we don't often experience in daily life anymore. I think maybe this might have been a part of life at an earlier time in our history, but since life is so cozy and easy now, and everything's so coddled and padded for us, we don't ever really have to dig as deep as you find yourself digging in a 6-hour or so tattoo, or even just a really painful hour tattoo. I think you have to go to places that aren't familiar to you, and that's where I come up with the term pain cave. And yeah, I just think that that's sorely missing, and I think that I've told people before, I've learned more about myself sitting in the tattoo chair in extensive appointments, perhaps than any other way. And it's given me a bit of reflection too on other parts of my life that were hard. It shed light on some other things. So now what I want to say is the thing that I've gained the most from sitting for these horrible appointments is that I know that, say I'm having a bad day at work, or if there's a really emotionally stressful event happening in my life, somewhere in the back of my mind is, this will pass and tomorrow will be easier or better or friendlier, Our worst moments can't stay with us long. They have a time limit on them. And if you know that, you'll be on to the next day faster too, because you won't dwell after the fact. Like, you won't be moping about over it. You'll just be ready for the next kind of next experience. Anyway, I said I wouldn't make this long, and I have, so this is already, what, 10 minutes? More than 10 minutes, and I'm still rambling on. I'll be laid up in bed for a couple days with this still. I am going to be at the shop Saturday, just kind of shadowing. I'm not going to be able to do any of the sterilization or even gloves and things like that. I'll just be watching. But my piercer that's apprenticing me still thinks it's better for me to be there and just be observing than it is for me to miss out on the time. So, and I fully agree with that. So now I've got my first aid and my bloodborne pathogens, so I have my certifications that I need, and the rest that I have to do is just read more. That's all I can do from on my own time anyway, without instruction. The different needle techniques and stuff that my piercer has been teaching me, I kind of already know. I've kind of gotten the grasp of the mechanical stuff. Now it's just kind of observing and lots of reading. I want to be really knowledgeable about aseptic technique and wound treatment and things like that. Anyway, yeah, I'll hopefully within 4 or 5 days this will start peeling. It usually peels around day 5 or 6. Starts. It doesn't fully peel for 2 weeks. But I want to show off. I want to do a video at some point showing off this in motion of peeling, because it's not going to stay this black. I'm hoping that it'll be blacker than it was last time. It would be nice if it could be as black as one of my arms or my chest or something, but you know, hands in general are really hard to saturate, and especially your fingers. But I think I'll get something out of this pass anyway. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this video or any of my other videos, be sure to share them with your friends, and follow me on Instagram at ephemeroremy, and have a good day.